Hello everyone, I am Renowned Zero, and today we're going to be talking about The Witcher Blood Origin, apparently breaking records for Netflix's worst audience score according to thegamer.com. They also want to add in the fact that many of the reviews perpetuate a bunch of ists, like racist, sexist, and ableist talking points, because of course that's what they always do. It always comes down to the fans are all these istophobes and all this other nonsense because this show is terrible, just like The Witcher was pretty much terrible, and it's going to be terrible without someone who actually knows the lore and respects it, like Henry Cavill. But of course, they wanted you to know what were the 10 best reasons to watch this show. We're gonna watch this real quick, and then we're going to talk about it and go through the rest of these articles we have. Let's take a listen here.
I can give you 1,000. The casts are insane.
The action is fierce.
It's got Michelle Yeoh, who is, I mean, you already know that, but she's just incredible.
It's set 1,000 years before The Witcher.
It explores part of the lore of The Witcher that hasn't been explored before.
There are monsters like we've never seen before.
It has the first kiss between two men in the
No one cares. Literally no one cares. This is not a selling point for this show. And this is why people hate woke Hollywood. Because this is not a talking point for a show. No one actually cares. You just want to push a narrative and push an agenda into established IPs like The Witcher.
show.
The costumes are divine. The makeup, the hair.
Literally, they say this about every movie and TV show. This isn't a new thing.
Bon appetit.
There's a deaf sign language using character.
Who care? Again, who cares? It's a fucking fantasy show. Why is there a deaf sign language person in a fantasy show?
It's a show that's made with so much love, and that's really fun.
And clearly the critics and the audience don't agree with that. That it was made with love. Because the original Witcher show wasn't made with love. So, but we'll actually start with this article. We'll jump right into it. The Witcher Blood Origin seeks to explore the beginnings of Andrzej Sapkowski's world, unpacking the conjunction of the spears wherein the worlds merge, bringing monsters to man, the very first Witcher and the pre-collapsed elven civilization. However, this deep dive into the Witcher's past has become Netflix's lowest scored show to date, sitting at 8%. That's audience score, not critics. I believe their critics scores are like around 38%. For comparison, Netflix's first season of Resident Evil had an audience score of 22%. Yeah, because they decided, let's take a iconic main character in Albert Wesker and let's race swap him because we're dumb. And we like to take established IPs and like to do whatever we want and just ignore canon. And Hype House clawed a score of 4% higher than Blood Origins at 12%. Critics hard to find this Witcher prequel as it sits at 38% from there. Yeah, so there you go. As reported by Forbes, this is something of a double-edged sword for Netflix, as The Witcher Blood Origin is its number one show right now, dominating the holiday season after its smash hit Wednesday. Yeah, because people are interested to see what tomfoolery and debauchery you are doing to this universe. And it got ratioed and destroyed as it should. But while it's number one, the number of people watching it don't seem to be enjoying it. However, digging into many of the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and other sites, a comment thread pops up angry at diversity and the woke agenda, because it most likely is, because it's made by people who don't understand the Witcher lore and don't really care about it. With many have set up the use of sign language, meaning that many of those reviews come from ists and phobes, of course. Because it's like the only talking point these websites have. One look at Twitter and several of these same sentiments can be found. People slating it for having a women lead, decrying the lack of a male lead from the series set 1,200 years after this one, while others are upset the woke casting, supposedly copied from Rings of Power, because they invented diversity. Yeah, diversity for diversity's sake, not for diversity of thought. Another key reason mentioned in several of the negative reviews is the Henry Cavill news, many claiming that he left due to the showrunner's hatred of the source material, which was proven correct. I'm sure it's correct. These people don't give a shit at Netflix about lore or anything like that. They see it as a thing that's in the way, we'll say, demanding he be brought back. However, Blood Origin is a prequel separate from the main story, main show, so it's hardly relevant. Whether the show is any good or not is ultimately up to you, but landing Netflix's worst audience scores isn't necessarily an indicator of its quality. And even if the show isn't great, the numbers being dragged down by recent news and a bigoted mentality. Shut the hell up. CBR. Witcher Blood Origin is getting review bombed by novel Henry Cavill fans. Netflix's Witcher Blood Origin has been review bombed by fans following the premiere of the limited series. The Blood Origin received a plethora of one-star reviews since its release on Netflix, while the miniseries holds a 38% average score on Rotten Tomatoes. No one really cares because they're bought and paid for. Blood Origin sinks even lower to 8% audience score, while there are many authentic reviews among the 2,000 plus reflecting the comments made by critics. There are many new accounts seemingly created specifically to give one-star reviews to the show. In the reviews section, these review bombing accounts often have comments about Henry Cavill's exit or the main series deviation from the novels, which these are the same type of people that don't believe in positive review bombing for garbage TV. For the critics' consensus, shallow excavation of ancient lore from Andrzej Sapkowski's book. I'm sure I'm butchering the first name. Fantasy series Blood Origin shares ancestral DNA with The Witcher, but little of what makes the Mothership series memorable. This, in line with early reviews of Blood Origin, and many critics agreeing that the series was both rushed and underwhelming. CBR's own review of Blood Origin said the series deviates from the source material and doesn't even offer much of substance or justifies existence despite the best efforts of talent. So even your own website says this show sucks. So why are you complaining about negative reviews from the fans, from the audience, if you yourself say the show sucks? It's hypocrisy at its best, man. Kotaku. Nobody, critics or fans, seem to like the new Netflix Witcher spinoff. Now, I will say Michelle Yeoh is a pretty damn good actress, but even she can't save this trash. Newest installment in Netflix going Witcher's franchise. The Witcher Blood Origin was recently released to a resounding meh from critics, but the fan response is even worse, with the 4-episode limited series sporting a dismal 8% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Low scores are resolved due to different factors related to the show, the original books, and former Superman actor Henry Cavill. Because once again, you are touching an IP that's been very well established in books and video games, and you expect people to give a shit about your show based on lore breaking and no lore using. You're not losing any of the lore at all. You're not caring about the lore. It's basically a second thought to the people that are creating this, and you expect the show to do well. And that's the funny thing. It's set in the same universe as Netflix's main Witcher show, and both are based on the original series of novels. However, Blood Origin is set 1,000 years before the events of the original television series and depicts the creation of the first Witcher, as well as the events leading to the conjunction of the spears. It also stars Michelle Yeoh, who deserves better. Yeah, because she's actually a good actress. Over on movie aggregation website Rotten Tomatoes, which is the website no one cares about, because they defended Captain Marvel when it was getting review bombed for being garbage. It's a trash film. It always will be a trash film. I don't care how much money it made. It was still a garbage film. Blood Origin sports 36%. Approval ratings, I'm guessing, went down among critics, and even worse, 8% approval rating from fans. While the critic score is bad and places it among some of the worst rated original shows on Netflix, it's the historically low 8% rating that's really wild. Of course, it should be noted that some fans are review bombing the series for a different reason. Some are angry Henry Cavill supporters, still fearing by his late October exit from the main show. Others are Witcher fans who continue to be frustrated with Netflix is handling the original source material in its Witcher projects. Rightfully so, as they should. Viewers being upset about how a series handles the source material has become a hot topic among video game fans, with complaints that Netflix's short-lived Resident Evil series and Paramount's Halo show are both straying too far from the original works they are supposedly based on. Yes, both those shows were garbage. They were garbage. You took off Master Chief's helmet in Halo. Master Chief doesn't take his helmet off ever, unless you're going to talk about the legendary ending of Halo 4, because that's what people like to go to, even though they don't completely show you his face, they only show you his eyes. He never takes off his helmet in any of the games, besides a cutscene that you have to beat it on legendary difficulty in order to see, unless you go on YouTube. And again, like I said, Resident Evil, you race swapped a very important character to the series in Albert Wesker. So of course fans are going to call this bullshit out, as fans usually do. This is likely why Amazon recently made a deal about how its upcoming God of War TV show will be staying true to the games. I highly doubt they're going to do that, because they couldn't even stay true to Rings of Power or Wheel of Time, especially when you have the Wheel of Time showrunner as the showrunner of this God of War TV show, which, by the way, they're skipping over all the Greek stuff and going straight into the Norse mythology stuff because it's the popular stuff right now, even though the Greek God of War games were much better. Yet it's hard to ignore the very low 8% viewer rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Even Netflix has supposedly despised the Resident Evil show has a 26% approval rating for fans. Halo sits at commemoratively excellent 52. That's not excellent at all. 52%. Blood Orange's rating, at least from what I can tell, seems to be the lowest viewer score from any Netflix original show. It's even lower than some other infamously review-bombed films and shows like Disney and Marvel She-Hulk, which was also garbage. Last Jedi, which was also garbage. Just garbage. Just basically comparing garbage to other garbage. That's what you're doing. With all that in mind, my read is that this isn't just another case of a property game review bomb by chuds, but instead is just a really bad show that even diehard Witcher fans don't enjoy. Reading fan reviews, many complain about the shoddy CGI, boring pace, bland writing, and general lack of direction. This echoes similar complaints from critics too. For Netflix, this can't be a good thing and doesn't bode well for the future of its Monster Slaying franchise and a post-Henry Cavill Witcherverse. Yes, because honestly, I don't see anyone besides Henry Cavill playing Geralt of Rivia. I do not see Liam Hemsworth playing a good Geralt of Rivia. I don't know why you didn't do everything. Netflix should have done everything they could to keep Henry Cavill on board with the Witcher series, considering he knows the lore of the novels and the games. But you decided that you wanted to not listen to the man. You decided you didn't want to follow the lore, and that's why essentially he left. Even though some of these sites like to say, "Oh, he never gave a real reason." We know why. We know why. Because he is a nerd like everybody else. He loves the Witcher franchise, and that's why he went on to he's going on to bigger and better things with executive producing and starring in a Warhammer show or series or movie or whatever. Because it's yet another franchise that he's very passionate about, and y'all didn't want to keep him on board for The Witcher. And he also got booted from DC to play Superman, which people loved him as Superman. So I was like, both DC and Netflix seem to not want to make money. Easy billion-dollar ideas to make a Henry Cavill trilogy of Superman films, and it's easy for Netflix to get more subscribers from keeping him on as Geralt of Rivia for the Witcher show, but clearly y'all just don't want to make money. So he went over to Amazon, and it seems to have some creative control over the Warhammer series, so I guess that would be the best fit for him, considering he also knows the Warhammer lore, and he can probably bring Warhammer to silver screens, as they like to call it, and get more people liking Warhammer. So unless Netflix wants to somehow bring him back, I don't see The Witcher going past season 4, and I don't see DC casting anybody better than Henry Cavill currently as Superman. But those are my thoughts about all this today, guys. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate you guys being here, subscribing to the content, watching the content, returning viewers. I love y'all. New subscribers, love y'all as well. If you did like the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you comment below what you think about all this. Subscribe for more content. Hit the bell for notifications. Set it to all, that way you get notifications every time I post a new video. And as always, I will see you all on the next one. Peace.